One day, a girl is harassed by men when Yuya, a boy, intervenes. The men call Yuya fat and ugly and beat him up. Police arrive and the men flee. The girl thanks Yuya, but he dismisses it and leaves. Yuya's grandfather taught him to be kind and help others, but his life is filled with bullying due to his appearance. Hey man, we've all been there. His parents favor his beautiful siblings and even mistreat him. After his grandfather's death, Yuya inherits his house and savings, causing his parents to abandon him. Okay, we haven't all been there. Yuya is graduating from middle school, but his yearbook is filled with mean comments. Bullies stop him, reminding him he's still their target. They beat him up while his siblings watch from afar. Later, Yuya's boss fires him for being late. At home, Yuya smashes his mirror in frustration, revealing a hidden room filled with strange items. He finds a peculiar door leading to another world, with notifications explaining various functions like item storage and user control. Yuya checks his status, finding his stats devastatingly low. Outside, he sees a magical house and learns from a note that it belongs to a dying sage who bequeaths it to whoever finds it. Yuya discovers exceptional weapons inside, gaining skills as he trains. A level 300 Bloody Ogre attacks, but Yuya kills it with one throw of his spear, leveling up to 100. He cashes out the dropped items for money and leaves for the night. Overnight, Yuya's body transforms. He finds magical clothes in the sage's house and explores the garden, where a level 200 sly monster attacks. Yuya defeats it, gaining a presence detection skill and leveling up to 150. He enjoys training in the other world, forgetting his depression. An elite goblin attacks, but Yuya skillfully defeats it. High school starts, and everyone is drawn to the transformed Yuya. His bullies approach him, but don't recognize him. When Yuya reveals his identity, they're shocked. Seeing his reflection for the first time since his transformation, Yuya is stunned by his new appearance. After class, Yuya's brother and sister approach him, questioning his dramatic change and calling him a loser. Suddenly, a limo stops, and the girl he saved steps out, looking for him. She reminds him of the incident, and Yuya wonders how she knows his name. Kaori introduces herself, explaining she looked into him to express her gratitude. She invites him to join Josei Academy, a prestigious school for the elite, where she's on the student council and her father is the chairman. Yuya feels flattered, but doubts his intellectual capabilities. His brother interrupts, requesting to join the academy instead, claiming superiority in academics and sports. Kaori refuses, citing their insults towards Yuya and revealing she knows about their past behavior. She assures Yuya that the academy values personality over academics alone and suggests showing him around. She pulls him away, leaving his siblings in disbelief. They arrive at the renowned Josei Academy, filled with exceptional students. Yuya meets the chairman, Tsukasa, who thanks him for saving his daughter. Yuya downplays his actions, but Kaori insists he was the only one who helped her. Tsukasa invites Yuya to join the school, offering to pay his tuition as a token of gratitude. Yuya hesitates, believing he won't fit in among geniuses. Tsukasa assures him that geniuses are merely people who have found effective ways to work hard and that everyone has unique talents. He suggests Yuya try out the school for a day. A teacher named Sawada enters, and Tsukasa introduces her as a renowned scientist with popular, easy-to-understand classes. Yuya prepares for his first class, worrying he might be in over his head, but reassuring himself it can't be worse than his normal school. I mean, better the evil you don't know, right? Oh, wait, how does that go again? Anyway, he introduces himself, and the students stare in awe, struck by his handsome appearance. He takes a seat in the back, sharing a book with a nearby girl who seems cold towards him. Kaori wonders if Yuya will fit in, but he finds the class engaging and the students more active than he's used to. During their break, students crowd around Yuya, asking if he's an idol or has a girlfriend. Rio intervenes, taking Yuya to the cafeteria for lunch. Yuya is amazed by the free menu, feeling like he's dreaming. They sit with Shingo, and they discuss anime, making Yuya feel more at ease. Yuya notices everyone staring at him, attributing it to his different uniform. Shingo asks about his club affiliations, but Yuya isn't part of any. Rio is also club-free due to his proficiency in various sports. Shingo reveals he's in the gaming club, and they discuss video games, making Yuya feel more comfortable. At the end of the day, Yuya meets with Tsukasa and admits he enjoyed his time at the academy, deciding to enroll. He runs into Kaori, who invites him to explore shops in a popular area. She reveals she doesn't hang out often due to people's hesitation about her family, but she feels different with Yuya. They enjoy crepes, and Kaori recognizes Yuya by his eyes, despite his changed appearance. They share bites of their crepes, and onlookers find them cute together. Yuya worries about returning to his original shape if he eats too much, but Kaori reassures him. Later that night, Yuya decides to return to the other world, donning his full set of armor. He confronts and defeats the monsters that appear, leveling up to 235, but noticing the slowed pace. Seeking a new challenge, he heads out, but hears a scream. He pulls out his spear and rushes towards the scream, finding brutally killed soldiers and a level 200 goblin general. Yuya sees a girl behind the monster and throws his spear, but the goblin deflects it. Seizing the moment, Yuya crashes down on the goblin, defeating it. The girl calls out to Yuya, warning him of another goblin behind him. He gets blown away, realizing this goblin is stronger and faster. Undeterred, Yuya uses his spear to vault over the goblin, switching to his bow to launch a barrage of arrows, then to his sword to split the goblin in half. He checks on the girl, but she faints. Hearing men approaching, Yuya uses an invisibility skill to avoid them. Knights arrive searching for the girl, revealed to be Princess Lexia. Back at his house, Yuya ponders the encounter, hoping the girl is safe since knights arrive to help her. He decides to buy new clothes with the money he's made from the other world as people stare at him, mistaking him for an actor or a model. His enchanted shirt stays clean, but he wants more variety in his wardrobe. I don't know, man. If I had a shirt that stayed clean, maybe I'd just become one of those guys that wears one shirt. Meanwhile, a director named Hikaru yells at a manager whose model, Sho, hasn't shown up for their photo shoot. Hikaru is furious that Sho is wasting everyone's time, especially Miyu's, the other model who has been waiting all morning. The theme of the photo shoot is centered around being a couple, making it impossible to proceed without Sho. Hikaru decides to look for a replacement within the mall. As Yuya shops, he's overwhelmed by the choices. Girls approach him, offering to help, but he politely declines, leaving them stunned and swooning over him. Yuya wonders if he handled the situation correctly. Oh, my friend, of course you did. Politeness always wins the heart of a lady. Hikaru struggles to find a replacement meanwhile, but is determined not to give up. Passing by Yuya, Hikaru instantly thinks he's the one. Approaching Yuya, Hikaru explains their situation. Yuya is nervous, but agrees to be their model, thinking about all the people counting on him. Yuya acts as the boyfriend for the photo shoot, taking pictures in various outfits and positions. Hikaru tells him to look sexier, but Yuya struggles with that direction. Miyu encourages him, saying he's doing well for his first time. Yuya is captivated by her looks and thanks her for her kindness. Sure, it's the kindness you like. Hikaru notes Yuya's stiffness, so they move to their next location. Yuya is impressed by Miyu's professionalism and determined to give it his best. Yes, her professionalism, yes. However, Miyu grabs onto him for the next shot, making him panic as she presses into him. Yes, professionalism. Hikaru instructs her to get even closer, causing Yuya to become more embarrassed as the crowd watches them. Meanwhile, in the other world, Princess Lexia of Arcelia thinks about her rescue and decides to return to the dark forest to find and thank her savior. Her knight warns her of the dangers, but she insists on going, ordering her knights to join her. They wonder where she inherited such reckless behavior. Back at the mall, the photo shoot ends, leaving Yuya exhausted. Miyu thanks him and Yuya chokes on his drink. She offers her handkerchief, but Yuya hesitates, feeling sweaty and not wanting to use the sleeve of the borrowed clothes. He reflects on his modeling experience and compliments Miyu's skill. She admits she's just used to it, revealing she started modeling to gain her busy parents' attention. After acquiring fans, she continued to bring happiness to others. She encourages Yuya to enjoy the moments and take things at his own pace. As they chat, Hikaru snaps candid pictures. Suddenly, Sho arrives, pushing Miyu against the wall and trying to ask her out for drinks. Yuya notices Miyu's discomfort and intervenes. Sho attempts to punch Yuya, but Yuya effortlessly throws him away. The crowd cheers, and Sho wonders how he lost despite his boxing experience. Hikaru tells Sho to leave, as they've captured everything on camera. Miyu thanks Yuya for his help, revealing Sho's unwanted advances. Hikaru assures them that Sho's behavior has always been bad, but this incident will likely end his career. Yuya ponders Hikaru's offer to do more modeling, but ultimately turns it down, feeling he's not good enough. Hikaru respects his decision and gives Yuya all the clothes from the shoot as compensation, insisting it's only natural to be paid for work. Miyu hopes to work with him again, and they wish him good luck. In the car, Hikaru laments Yuya's decision not to continue, believing he could have been a star. Looking at the photos, Miyu blushes and Hikaru teases her about having a crush on Yuya. Meanwhile, Yuya organizes his new wardrobe. His photo circulates among the agencies, sparking interest in signing him. One determined woman orders her associate to find Yuya before the other agencies do. In the other world, Lexia's knights struggle against goblins. Yuya appears, effortlessly defeating the goblins and treating an injured knight. Lexia approaches him, revealing she came to the Dark Forest to ask him to marry her. Shocking everyone. But not shocking me, because, come on, look at my guy over there. Stunning! Lexia's knight, Owen, questions her intentions, reminding her of her royal status and their lack of knowledge about Yuya. Lexia insists it's love at first sight, leading to an argument. Yuya interrupts, warning of the forest dangers and inviting them to his house. Surprised to learn he lives there, they're amazed by his home. Owen introduces himself as the captain of the Arzalian Knights and Lexia as the first princess, second in line to the throne. She thanks Yuya again, who worries about his behavior towards a princess, but they reassure him it's not an official visit. Yeah, and she's going to remain professional, remember? Professionalism. Yuya introduces himself and they find his name strange, speculating he's from another country. Lexia fantasizes about him being foreign royalty, while Owen considers other possibilities. Lexia reveals she's been thinking about him since he first saved her and asks him to marry her again. So professional. Overwhelmed, Yuya feels the proposal too sudden. Lexia reconsiders, deciding love should have obstacles and asks to start as friends. Yuya agrees, despite his past experiences. Owen mentions the king wants Yuya to visit the royal palace to express his gratitude. Yuya hesitates, but ultimately accepts the royal command. Owen estimates the trip will take 5 days, but Yuya worries about his new school. They agree to wait for his decision. Before leaving, Lexia tells Yuya to prepare, as she plans to win his heart next time. That's so sweet and mildly predatory, but sweet. Somewhere in the royal capital, a man reports their failed attempt on Lexia's life. A masked man, revealed to be a disfigured member of the royal family, sent assassins after Lexia, but they perished in the dark forest, taken out by monsters. He wonders how Lexia returned unharmed and warns his subordinate not to fail again, swearing revenge on Lexia. Back at Yuya's house, he marks his calendar for his meeting with the king, puts on his new uniform, and heads to Osei Academy. Everyone stares at him, mistaking him for a famous model. The director greets him, but apologizes for not having time to talk, reminding Yuya to enjoy himself at school. Yuya is introduced to the class as an official student, and Ryo and Shingo are happy to see him. During a soccer game, a student named Roy scores a goal, impressing Yuya and a girl named Cade. Roy goes up against the opposing team, tricking them and passing the ball to his teammate Akira. Akira's shot goes awry, but Yuya stops the ball and scores a goal, shocking everyone. Cade is stunned by his reflexes. Akira apologizes, but Cade turns him down. Roy vouches for Akira, thanking Yuya for saving them. In the gym, Kaori and the other girls discuss Yuya, thinking he must have a girlfriend. Kaori and Cade insist nothing is confirmed. During his next class, Yuya waves to Kaori, but delinquents on motorbikes burst in, surrounding the girls. The group, known as the Red Ogres, is the most dangerous delinquent gang in the area. Yuya recognizes his siblings among them. The Red Ogres target Kaori for revenge, planning to abduct her. Yuya wants to save Kaori, but struggles with emotional damage from his past bullying. Don't say the meme. Come on, don't say the meme. He snaps out of his panic, jumps out the 4th floor window, and lands unharmed. He confronts his old bully, Ira, and easily disarms the gang. The boss attacks Yuya with his bike but crashes. The police arrive, arresting the delinquents. Yuya catches Kaori as she becomes weak, and they share a moment. Meanwhile, Yuya's siblings blame each other for their situation. Yuya intervenes, saving his brother Yota from being choked by the boss. The boss charges at Yuya, but Yuya scares him off. Yuya's siblings apologize for their past behavior, moved to tears. Yuya apologizes for the trouble and is joined by his friends, who are amazed by his actions. Yuya goes to explore the other world, but remembers Owen's warning that the Dark Forest is the most dangerous region, with monsters strong enough to destroy a city. He wanders the area once owned by the sage, exploring deeper into the forest to find stronger monsters. Suddenly, he hears a cry and sees a puppy being attacked by an orc. The puppy glows with dark energy, but is too weak to fight. I used to have a puppy that glowed with dark energy. I'm sure I did. I mean, sometimes it was dark, and he was energetic. Okay, this joke isn't working. Yuya watches from a distance and sees that the orc is a level 600 orc king with over 20,000 attack power. He thinks he doesn't stand a chance, but can't bring himself to leave the puppy. I could never find myself the energy to leave my puppy either. Oh, you're a good girl. Thinking about what his grandfather would do, he decides to help, hoping to at least distract the orc. Yuya charges at the orc and takes it out with a single shot. He feels embarrassed for taking so long to work up the courage, only to have things end so easily. He remembers the ogre he defeated when he was still at level 1 and wonders about the sage who created such powerful weapons. He checks on the dog, but it growls at him. He offers it a potion, but it passes out. He quickly treats the dog, and it starts to take a liking to him. He tries talking to it and learns that it's all alone, with nowhere to go. He offers to take it in, and the dog happily agrees. Yuya suddenly gains the taming skill, making the dog his new companion. He checks out its stats and finds that it's actually a level 500 Black Fenrir. Impressed by its stats, he thinks about giving it a name. Looking at its black fur, he decides to call it Knight. Oh, that's original. The dog happily jumps onto him. Yuya and Knight return to his house, where Yuya examines the items dropped by the Orc King. He finds an S-ranked magic stone, unusable human gear, and a rare brush that stimulates hair growth. Checking his stats, Yuya... Okay, hang on a second. A brush that stimulates hair growth. Where do I get one of those? Checking his stats, Yuya remains at level 235 and is puzzled by the lack of leveling, despite defeating a high-level monster. In the real world, Yuya leaves Knight at home and goes to school. He asks his friends about pet shops, revealing he adopted a dog. He explains he doesn't have pictures because he doesn't own a smartphone. His friends find this odd, but tell him about a nearby pet shop. Cade offers to take him and Yuya accepts, though Cade thinks it might be like a date. At home, Knight greets Yuya enthusiastically. Yuya shows Knight the items Cade helped him buy, including a new collar. They go for a walk in the park where everyone stares at Yuya and Knight. Yuya runs into Cowdy, who finds Knight adorable. Yuya and Cowdy are at the park with Knight when they encounter Miyu, the model Yuya previously worked with. Miyu leaves to avoid causing a scene. That's what I thought. Kaori wonders if Miyu is Yuya's girlfriend, but he denies it. Suddenly, a woman screams as a man steals her purse. Yuya sends Knight to retrieve the man, and they hand him over to the police, after Yuya disarms and restrains him. Kaori thanks Yuya for saving her once again. Later, Yuya and Knight explore the dark forest, encountering various monsters. Knight takes out an Orc King on his own. They then face a level 630 crystal deer with impressive magic stats. The deer detects Yuya despite his invisibility and attacks. Yuya and Knight work together, with Knight creating an opening for Yuya to strike. Knight jumps around the crystal deer, using its speed, but the deer retaliates with magic, causing countless explosions. Knight lands a hit, and Yuya takes the chance to finish it off. Among the item drops, Yuya finds a box containing a portable bath set that automatically stays clean and has a privacy feature. Amazed, he decides to try it out at his house, enjoying a relaxing bath with Knight. The next day, they fight a needle roller, which has exceptional speed. Yuya struggles at first, but manages to predict its movements, dodging its attack and causing it to get stuck in a wall. He takes it out, leveling up to 240, while Knight reaches level 510. The wall cracks where the monster crashed, and it reveals a cave. They decide to check it out. Yuya scans for enemies but finds no signs of any monsters. The cave lights up as they reach a larger room. Yuya is shocked to find a body, but notices a book on the floor. He checks it out and discovers it's the Book of the Sage. As Yuya reads the book, he learns that the sage mastered every skill and became as powerful as a god. The gods even invited him to join them, but he declined. The book speaks to Yuya, warning him that people will fear him as he grows stronger. Yuya wonders how to prevent this, and the sage's voice tells him to find trustworthy people. The sage asks Yuya what he wants to know, and Yuya requests to learn magic. The book fills with the sage's magical knowledge, but Yuya lacks the magical circuits to use it. The sage passes his own circuits to Yuya, telling him to find happiness and live a good life. What a nice guy. Yuya returns home and starts learning magic from the book. He senses magical energy and learns to manipulate it, imagining a ball of water. Knight also learns magic, and Yuya tests his new skill, blowing a hole through a tree. Meanwhile, at the royal capital, Alan reports to the king about Yuya. The king loses his temper upon hearing that Yuya received a proposal from the princess. Yeah, getting major family issues vibes here, okay? At school, Yuya daydreams about the sage's warning. The teacher reminds the class about an upcoming camping trip and sorts them into groups. Yuya is grouped with Cade, Akira, and Rin. Cade is excited, but Yuya mentions he lacks camping equipment. Cade suggests shopping, so they head to the mall with Shingo and Ryo. Shingo is surprised to see Kaori joining them, and Ryo can't believe Yuya is friends with the director's daughter. They help Yuya pick out a backpack and decide to hang out at the arcade. Yuya wins prizes for his friends using his detect weakness skill. Cade thanks him for her gift, mentioning it's her first time at an arcade. The girls go shopping, so the guys take a break at a cafe. An alarm suddenly rings, indicating a fire. Yuya worries about the girls and rushes upstairs to find them. He reaches the source of the fire and uses his magic to run through the flames. He finds the girls unconscious and uses his detection skill to ensure no one else is left. He covers the girls with his magic and smashes through the building to create an exit. Now, that's what I call a way to impress a girl. The building shakes, but Yuya manages to escape with the girls. Kaori's father arrives and thanks Yuya for saving his daughter again. Yuya returns the honor pin he picked up. Kaori hugs her father, and Yuya thinks about family, realizing that Night is his family. Yuya thinks about other uses for magic, remembering that it's the materialization of his imagination. He focuses on a location and opens a portal, taking him deep into the dark forest. Excited, he realizes he can only travel to places he's already been, but can use his skill to feed Night even during his school trip. They explore a cave filled with goblins, which are no match for Yuya's legendary sword. They find rare items, and Yuya stores them with his storage skill. Their teamwork improves, but Night wants to continue exploring. Yuya chases after Night and finds an injured girl facing numerous goblins. He wants to save her, but Night pulls him back. An elite goblin attacks, but the girl uses threads to cut off its arm. Yuya and Night intervene, saving the girl. Countless more goblins appear, so Yuya uses his divine whip, crushing them all in a single attack. He finds the skill overpowered, but effective. It's overpowered, yeah, so it's effective. The girl, Luna, wakes up and is surprised to be carried by Yuya. He offers her healing juice, instantly healing her injuries. Luna introduces herself and explains she was training in the forest, but got into trouble. Yuya says he was also training, and Luna apologizes for her appearance. She asks about a nearby river, so Yuya brings out his portable bath. Luna is impressed by the rare item, yeah, I would be too, and Yuya's ability to defeat a crystal deer. She asks him to accompany her in training, and he agrees. They train together, both getting stronger. Luna takes out a goblin with her threads, but she says she still has a long way to go. Yuya tells her he has to leave for a school trip. On the last day of training, Yuya relaxes in the bath, but Luna suddenly joins him. Embarrassed, Yuya listens as Luna expresses her gratitude and offers to wash his back. Her towel drops, and Yuya becomes flustered. Yeah, once again, I would become flustered too. On the school trip, Yuya plays cards with his friends. Cade notices he looks tired, and Yuya admits he didn't sleep much. He wins the game repeatedly, attributing it to his luck stat. They arrive at their destination, and the teacher explains they must survive off the land for 2 days. The students are left in the forest, and Yuya and Cade go fishing, while Rin and Akira look for edible plants. Yuya uses his detection skill to find a good fishing spot. He gets into the water and catches fish with his hands, impressing Cade. I'd be impressed too. Oh my gosh, this guy is just so impressive. Meanwhile, in a dark town, Luna uses her threads to cut off the heads of puppets. Noting her improved power, she thinks about her time with Yuya. Yuya and Cade meet back up with Rin, showing her their haul. Yuya checks on Akira, who complains about being used to test mushrooms and lure away bears. Yuya checks Akira's stats and finds he's okay. They show their haul to Sawada, who compliments them. Sawada asks who plans to cook, and everyone points at Yuya. He starts preparing the food and manages to prepare an impressive meal. The team digs in, and Sawada tries some of the food, finding it amazing. After the meal, Sawada asks if Yuya would marry her, surprising everyone. She reveals she can't cook or clean and has never been in a relationship before. Man, is there any woman who doesn't like this guy? I can see where they're coming from. Everyone tells her it's a bad idea, but Sawada insists on marrying him. Yuya gets nervous, but tells her he thinks she's a good teacher. Yeah, that's your teacher, dude. Later that night, Yuya teleports back to his house to check up on Night and fixes him some dinner. He teleports back to the camp where everyone is taking a shower together. Akira points out Yuya's muscular body, and Yuya wonders what's wrong with this. In the girls' bathroom, Rin teases Cade about the boys being into her. They run into Kaori and mention how Sawada wanted to marry Yuya. Kaori is surprised, and the girls think Sawada has a certain advantage. Cade seems inspired to make a move on Yuya. The next morning, some students find their belongings trashed. Akira gets scared seeing scratch markings on a tree. Yuya realizes what's going on as a bear suddenly appears before the girls. The bear chases after them, and all the students panic. Sawada signals the group to take cover with her. The bear runs into the table, and Sawada tells them to get to safety. Sawada falls down, and the bear lunges at her. But Yuya gets in the way. He wrestles with the bear, throwing it to the ground and knocking it out. Yuya checks up on Sawada, who decides to let him off the hook for fighting a bear and even offers to marry him once again, which he politely declines. So professional. Kaori explains that they'll have to take the bear in as a guard bear. The camping trip comes to an end. Back at his house, Yuya is scheduled to meet the king in the other world with Lexia. On the way to meet him, he finds a group of demons in the forest and decides to take them out. Night slashes at one of them, and Yuya throws his spear, but the demon catches it. He swaps to a hammer, completely squishing the demon. The demon drops an interesting-looking helmet, and Yuya tries it on. A strange-looking rabbit watches him, thinking he is the one. Lexia's party approaches, and Owen is worried seeing him. Yuya realizes it's because of his helmet. He quickly takes it off. They're glad to see him once again and ask if he's ready to meet the king. They invite him to join them at the palace, but Night suddenly jumps on Lexia as a tree suddenly falls. Yuya slashes it in half and notices the threads that Luna would use, realizing Night was protecting the princess. Owen wonders what is going on, and they see Luna cursing herself for failing. As she tries to get away, she's attacked by Yuya and gets knocked out. Yuya is surprised that it's really Luna and wonders what's going on. Lexia joins him, wondering who she is. Yuya tells her Luna was the one who tried to attack her and realizes Night knew all along. Yuya asks to heal her wounds and take her back to his house so he can ask her what is going on, not wanting to believe she's a bad person. Lexia grants his request as Alan comes rushing over, telling her not to run off on her own. She tells him she's going to pay a visit to Yuya's house. Yuya uses teleportation magic to return home with Lexia and Luna. Lexia, curious about the spell, asks how he created it. He explains he developed it by thinking of magic as a means of transportation. Lexia warns him that teleportation magic is considered a dangerous myth that could lead to war if discovered, and she makes him promise not to use it carelessly. Lexia wakes up Luna, who reveals her past as an orphan, taken in by a man who taught her to read, write, and assassinate. Luna became known as the Headhunter after joining the Dark Guild. She admits her mission was to assassinate Lexia, and her failure ensures her death. Yuya expresses concern for Luna, and she questions why he cares. He tells her that their time together meant a lot to him and that he considers her a friend. Lexia offers Luna a job as her bodyguard, despite Luna's criminal past. Luna, shocked, reluctantly accepts the position. Meanwhile, Owen and his soldiers retreat from goblins, leaving Lexia's protection to Yuya. Luna struggles to accept her new role, thinking Lexia is a tyrant. Lexia inquires about Yuya's bath, and Luna explains it's a rare item that aids in recovery and enhances beauty. Lexia decides to take a bath with Luna and invites Yuya to join, but he nervously declines. This guy is so humble and wholesome. Come on, guys, how can you not love Yuya? During the bath, Lexia asks if Luna likes Yuya, but Luna insists they're just friends. Lexia, however, believes Luna has feelings for him and declares she will marry Yuya. sparking a rivalry between the two. Luna accepts the challenge, determined to win Yuya for herself. After their bath, Yuya suggests making dinner. Lexia tries to cook but struggles, so Yuya takes over and prepares the meal. Luna, feeling jealous of Lexia's compliments, asks Yuya to feed her, claiming her bones aren't fully healed. He agrees, and as Luna eats, she smirks at Lexia, who demands to be fed as well. Yuya points out she isn't injured, but Lexia uses her authority as a princess to command him, leaving Yuya with no choice. Exhausted but content, Yuya reflects on the day as the girls sleep. The next day, they reunite with Owen and his men. Yuya apologizes for leaving Owen behind, and Owen asks about their companions. Yuya reintroduces Knight, and Owen thanks him for saving Lexia the previous day. Owen then questions Luna's identity, and Lexia bluntly reveals Luna's past as an assassin who tried to kill her, but now serves as her guard. Shocked, the group surrounds Luna. That's what I'd do as well. But Lexia orders them to stand down, arguing that if Luna wanted to kill her, she would have done so already. Alan reluctantly agrees, but insists on keeping a close watch on her. Yuya announces he can't accompany them to the palace, needing to return to school. Owen encourages him to visit whenever possible, and Lexia bids him farewell, urging him to return soon. Luna suddenly kisses Yuya and thanks him for everything, leaving Lexia devastated and demanding to return for a kiss as well. Owen pretends not to hear her and continues on their way. Yuya, reflecting on the kiss, wonders if Luna likes him but decides to take a bath to relax. During his bath, Yuya notices a strange creature has snuck in and receives a notification that he has tamed it. Confused but accepting, the creature agrees to stay. Yuya checks its stats, discovering his appraisal skill has leveled up, allowing him to see its abilities. He finds a skill called Holy Ground and tests it, creating a field of light that buffs him. Impressed, Yuya names the creature Akatsuki, before Knight reminds him of the time, prompting Yuya to rush back to school. In class, Sawada announces a ball game competition, urging everyone to do their best as the results will affect her bonus. The first event is soccer, with the class divided into 2 teams. Yuya plays as a goalkeeper despite being unfamiliar with the rules. Akata steals the ball, gets past everyone, and takes a shot, but Yuya stops it instantly, shocking everyone with his speed. Unsure of what to do next, Yuya throws the ball as instructed, accidentally scoring a point by throwing it into the opposing goal. Oh, what a noob. After school, a modeling agency approaches Yuya, inviting him to join the industry, but he quickly declines. The chief is shocked by his lack of interest, but Yuya explains he's already enjoying school. Miyu appears, trying to persuade him as well, leaving his friend surprised that he knows a model. Yuya explains they worked together once, and they see the cover of an upcoming magazine featuring them. A poster for their sports competition suddenly lands nearby, and Kaori chases after it. The chief gets an idea to do an article on the school and photograph Yuya during the event. She leaves to get the school's approval. In the other world, Yuya defeats a skeleton monster but feels he hasn't grown any stronger. He decides to venture deeper into the forest and finds an area filled with hard, black trees, resistant to normal attacks. Suddenly, a mithril boar attacks him. Yuya tries to heal himself, but the boar strikes again. As the boar charges, it's suddenly sent flying by a strange rabbit, Usagi, who can talk. The boar recovers, but Usagi destroys it instantly, shocking Yuya with his strength and the surrounding destruction. Yuya checks Usagi's stats, finding them incredibly powerful with many titles. He thanks Usagi, who then asks Yuya to show him his kick. Usagi sees potential in Yuya and demonstrates his own kick, blasting through multiple trees, and begins training Yuya to do the same. After some time, Yuya destroys one of the trees and starts sparring with Usagi. Yuya wonders why Usagi is training him, and Usagi reveals his desire for Yuya to become his successor. He explains that he is a divine, a title given to those who master a field, and his duty is to protect the world from the vile, beings that manifest the world's negative aspects. Yuya hesitates about becoming a divine, but Usagi continues training him anyway, acknowledging the need for allies in the inevitable fight against the vile. Usagi asks to learn magic from Yuya, impressed by the barrier around his house, and they agree to exchange knowledge. Later, Yuya is chased by a king, Mithril Boar. Usagi sees it as a chance for Yuya to have a rematch. Despite struggling, Yuya defeats the boar with his kicks and whip, celebrating his victory as it drops several S-ranked items. Usagi explains that even stronger monsters exist, and the vile rank even higher. Yuya then receives a notification about evolving and gains new skills, though his appearance remains unchanged. The next day, Yuya participates in a table tennis competition with the chief urging him to perform well. His opponent is the national champion, the sniper, whose serve Yuya initially misses. However, comparing it to the boar, Yuya easily returns the next serve, even breaking the table, but forfeits the match to avoid injuring anyone. The photographers complain that he moved too fast for them. Kei drags Yuya to play volleyball, replacing an injured team member, and the chief follows. As the match begins, Yuya's strength pops the ball and destroys the court, causing the opposing team to give up instantly. The photographers miss the shot again. Kei reassures Yuya, but they suddenly hear a scream. They see Kaori, and Yuya wonders what's happening. They notice her teammate being carried away, warning Yuya about the serve. Yuya takes his place in the tennis match, and his opponents warn him that he might need medical attention. The match continues and Kaori's serve narrowly misses him, landing out. Yuya encourages her, but on her next serve, she throws her racket instead. Realizing Kaori took out the other student, Yuya takes over the game, handling every shot. Kaori tries to help, but ends up throwing her racket again, almost falling before Yuya catches her. The chief finally gets a good shot. At the end of the day, Kaori walks home with Yuya, thanking him for his help. She offers to treat him to food, but Yuya says he's happy just being with her, so there's no need for thanks. Instead, Kaori kisses him. Asuki fights a vile Usagi and surprises the girl by using magic, which he shouldn't be able to do. He thanks Yuya for teaching him, prompting the girl to reassess her priorities and decide Yuya is a greater threat. She leaves to find him and deal with him first. Meanwhile, the agency chief reviews their next issue, filled with photos of Yuya, and is pleased, confident the magazine will sell well. Her subordinate worries that other agencies will pursue Yuya once they see the issue, but the chief has a plan to ensure Yuya won't refuse joining their agency. At Yuya's house, he and Kaori study together. Yuya thanks her for helping with math, but she brushes it off, noting he's been helping her with English. Yuya attributes his English proficiency to his language comprehension skill. In a flashback, we see them walking home together, discussing upcoming exams. Yuya worries about his performance, surprising Kaori, who suggests they study together. When she first meets Atsuki, she finds both of Yuya's pets cute. As they study, Kaori asks to use the restroom, but Yuya worries she might get lost. She ends up in front of the door to the other world, feeling drawn to it. Yuya finds her and nervously explains the door connects to another world, showing her how it works. Kaori's hand is stopped by a barrier, and Yuya explains that only people he allows can enter. Kaori wonders about the other world, and Yuya shows her his magic, explaining how he learned skills there that have helped him deal with delinquents and save people from the fire in the department store. Amazed, Kaori listens as Yuya offers to show her around the other world. They cross over together, and Kaori is astonished to see the new world. Yuya explains that Night is a Fenrir, and Akatsuki is like a pig, which offends Akatsuki. Kawari's status window appears, and Yuya notes her stats are much higher than his were when he started. He explains how leveling up in this world changed his appearance, making him feel as though he cheated, but Kawari changes the subject, asking to see more of the world. Yuya warns of the dangers outside his house's barrier, but promises to show her more later, sealing it off with a pinky promise. Kawari feels closer to him, sensing they share a special bond. In the capital, Lexia returns to the palace and the king inquires about Yuya's absence. Owen explains their plans have changed, and the king suspects it involves Luna. Luna admits she tried to assassinate Lexia, prompting the king to draw his sword. He lunges at her, but stops, acknowledging her skill when she stops his arm, knowing his sword can cut through anything. Lexia defends Luna, declaring she'll hate her father if he harms her. Devastated, the king recognizes Luna as one of Lexia's guards. I mean, you'll do anything for your kids, won't you? The king asks about Luna, and Owen reveals she was the headhunter for the Dark Guild. The king wonders how this connects to Yuya, and Owen explains that Yuya captured Luna and took her and Lexia to his house. Hearing that Lexia stayed over at a man's house, the king goes on a rampage, wanting to cut Yuya down. Alan assures him nothing happened, but the king isn't convinced. Meanwhile, the masked man who once tried to kill Lexia is revealed as the first prince, Rhaegar. His subordinate reports that a noble hired Luna to assassinate Lexia, but Yuya thwarted the attempt, and now Luna is Lexia's guard. Hearing that Yuya was invited to the palace, Rhaegar devises a plan to use a magic sealing barrier, which will disable all magic in the area. He intends to make the king and his guards powerless, leaving only Owen and Luna to deal with. Despite his subordinates' concerns about exposure, Rhaegar believes they can pin the blame on Yuya when he visits. Yuya, after getting an extra day off following the academy's competition, prepares to visit the capital. He farms, defeating a sheep monster that drops rare items, including a magical bedding item. Yuya heads to a nearby town, surprised to see cat girls. At the guild, the master doesn't recognize Yuya's origin and suspects he's a noble based on his appearance. Yuya insists he's just a regular guy, but the master finds it hard to believe. The master is amazed when Yuya shows his item box skill, especially when Yuya offers peppers, which the master deems of the highest quality. The master offers 100 gold coins, explaining that an average family could live comfortably on 5 gold coins per year. Yuya also receives a guild card for identification and learns about the stagecoach to the capital. Arriving at the palace, Yuya feels out of place but is greeted by Owen, who reassures him they're only having an informal audience with the king. Inside, Yuya pays his respects to the king, who immediately brings up Lexia's proposal and accuses Yuya of seducing his daughter. Owen calms the king, but he becomes angry when Yuya presents the bedding set he got from the sheep as a gift for Lexia, which the king misinterprets as an attempt to seduce her further. Lexia explains that gifting bedding implies a desire to marry and share a bed, and Yuya realizes his mistake. Oh, come on, guys. It could be a beautiful mistake. Before the king can act, assassins attack. The king orders his guards to fire, but one assassin activates the magic sealing barrier, stopping the arrows. The assassins attack, but Yuya, with the knight's help, easily defeats them. Lexia clings to Yuya, praising him, while Luna jealously tries to pull her away as the king glares at Yuya. Owen identifies an emblem on one of the assassins, revealing that Prince Rhaegar was behind the attack. The news spreads among the guards, and the king isolates himself in his room. Yuya considers his next move, recalling how Owen asked for his help in protecting Lexia. He searches for Lexia, hesitating before entering her room, but she suddenly steps out and suggests they explore the capital since it's his first time there. Luna reminds her of the situation, but Lexia argues that if her brother sends more assassins, he'll reveal his location. Luna agrees but knows Lexia just wants to go outside. Luna insists Lexia stay in the castle while she shows Yuya around, but Lexia refuses, not wanting them alone together. Owen suggests he could be their guide, but both girls reject the idea. In the end, both girls accompany Yuya while Owen watches from a distance. Lexia wants to visit the jewelers, but Luna has other plans, leading to a dispute between the girls. Their bickering draws attention, and people assume Yuya must be a noble to have two beauties with him. They explore the city, and Yuya expresses interest in the Adventurers Guild. He mentions how he registered with the Merchants Guild on his way to the capital. Luna suggests he also register with the Adventurers Guild since he often hunts, which would make trading monster materials easier and allow him to earn money from quests. Luna decides to register too, hoping to go on quests with Yuya. Lexia dislikes the idea, but Luna suggests she could register as well. Lexia complains about them being together, but Luna reassures her that Yuya will be likely too busy to take quests with her. They meet the clerk, Amelia, who gives them application forms. Yuya fills out his form but hesitates on the magic section, deciding not to mention his ability to use all types of magic, including teleportation. He lists only wind, fire, and water magic. When it's time to measure his magic power, the crystal ball shatters from sheer force, shocking everyone. Amelia tests him again, but the result is the same. Yuya apologizes, but Amelia assures him it's fine. She reviews their applications and is stunned by Yuya's ability to use 3 types of magic, which places him in the realm of fairy tales. Lexia praises him while Yuya is relieved he didn't reveal all his magic abilities. Amelia processes their applications and they receive their guild cards, starting as F-ranked adventurers. She explains that they can complete quests at their own pace, but warns against over-harvesting plants during gathering quests. The group checks the quest board, but Yuya is suddenly approached by a woman named Glenda, who wants to team up after seeing him destroy the measuring crystal. The girls pull her away, saying she's had too much to drink, but Glenda hopes to see Yuya again. Lexia reconsiders joining the guild, thinking she needs to protect Yuya from other women, but Luna reminds her to consider Owen, who already struggles to manage her. They head into the field for their first quest, gathering herbs. Yuya's discernment skill provides harvesting instructions, while Luna struggles not to damage the roots, and Lexia enjoys the break. Lexia proposes a competition with Luna to see who can gather the most valuable herbs, with the winner earning a day-long date with Yuya. Owen reminds them not to over-harvest, and they all disperse, leaving Yuya alone. He finds a mana healing plant, while Akatsuki attempts to help but only finds a highly poisonous one. The girls return with their herbs, and Yuya examines their findings. Suddenly, Owen rushes over, saying they've located the first prince and asks for Yuya's assistance. Lexia and Luna head back to the castle while Yuya and Owen investigate. They arrive at an abandoned house, and Owen suggests the prince might already be captured. No more fun! Come on, guys, let's check it out. As they enter, a knife strikes on one of the soldiers. They find the prince holding a guard hostage, but Yuya sends Knight to save the man. Owen surrounds the prince, urging him to surrender, but the prince refuses and threatens to take his own life, believing he's worthless. As Owen hesitates, Yuya intervenes and subdues the prince. Just as they prepare to take the prince away, an explosion blows the house open. The prince is relieved to see the girl from the vial, but she coldly informs him that he has failed and is no longer needed. Shocked, the prince realizes he was merely a pawn in her plan to start wars and cause mass casualties. As she prepares to kill him, Owen tries to intervene but is stopped by an arrow. Yuya wonders about the arrow's origin, but the girl bombards them with more arrows. Owen questions her motive, and she reveals her goal is to wipe out all of humanity. Oh, the humanity. The knights struggle against her attack, and it becomes clear she can predict their movements. Just as she prepares to finish them off, Yuya uses his magic to deflect the arrows. Owen thanks him for saving them, and the girl realizes Yuya is the one she's after. Though eager to fight him, she decides to retreat for now, having already expended too much power. The prince is taken into custody, but Yuya is left pondering the girl's true identity. At the royal palace, King Arnold invites Yuya to Prince Rhaegar's trial. Rhaegar confesses that Lexia's childhood magical accident fueled his rage. Remembering his past, Yuya administers a magic elixir, curing the prince. Lexia, unable to harbor hatred, pardons her brother. King Arnold knights Yuya and gifts him Rhaegar's former estate. Yuya, consumed by worry about the vile girl, neglects his friends and intensifies his training. During a run, the vile girl ambushes him. Kaori, concerned about Yuya, enters the demon's den and witnesses their battle. Usagi appears, pleading with the girl, Yuti, to stop. He reminds her that her late master, the archer, was a divine who protected humanity. Yuti unleashes her full power, but Akatsuki neutralizes her. Usagi leaves Yuti with Yuya. Kaori, despite witnessing the battle, assures Yuya of her trust. In the mid-credits, Kaori meets and befriends Lexia and Luna. Yuya and his siblings renew their bond. Yuti emigrates to Earth and enlists at Osei Academy as part of her redemption. Thank you for watching this video until the end. If you liked it, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what anime you'd like to see in the future. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.